Every night you promise yourself tomorrow will be different, but the day disappears and your future stays untouched. One protected hour could change everything, or expose that you never really meant it. So what happens when a man finally guards 60 minutes like his life depends on it? You've got big dreams. You can picture yourself winning, building something meaningful, becoming someone remarkable. But then evening hits, your body drops onto the couch, and a quiet question stings: where did the day go, and why does it feel like nothing moved forward? You stay busy, meetings, emails, tasks, errands, until you're exhausted. Yet if someone asked, what did you build today that will matter in 5 years? You'd freeze, because busyness isn't the same as progress. And that gap is where most futures quietly die. What if one single hour, just 60 minutes buried inside your chaotic day, held the power to transform your entire life? Not by motivation, but by a system. This is the story of a man who found his sacred hour, and everything started to shift. But not the way you expect. In Chicago, where office towers cut into gray skies and rush hour never really ends, there was James Carter. He was 34, a financial analyst at a mid-sized consulting firm. From the outside he looked fine. Inside, he felt like time was slipping through his hands. Every morning his alarm screamed at 7. He hit snooze 3 times. By 7:45 he was sprinting, shower, coffee, traffic, at his desk by 8:30. The day began in panic and stayed there, like he was already behind before he even sat down. His workdays were packed, financial models, client presentations, and emails multiplying like rabbits. Lunch happened at his desk. Meetings happened that should have been emails. By 6 he felt drained, by 7 he was a shell. And the scary part was how normal that felt. At night, James collapsed on the couch with takeout containers, scrolling his phone, letting Netflix play until sleep took him. Stable job, bills paid, decent apartment, on paper, okay. But inside he was a hamster on a wheel, running hard and going nowhere. And that feeling was getting louder. He'd been at the firm 4 years. When he started, he thought it was his path: learn the business, get promoted, build a career. 4 years later, same position, same title, same salary, same cubicle. Younger analysts were rising around him, and he watched them climb while he stayed stuck. Every Sunday evening he opened his journal and wrote the same line: this week, I'll finally start. Start what? The advanced Excel and data analytics course he'd bookmarked. The side consulting idea he sketched a year ago. The investment portfolio he wanted to build. The words were there, life wasn't. James had goals, real goals, but they lived in a notebook, not in reality. Each day vanished into busy work that produced nothing lasting. Then he looked at his phone and saw a different life staring back. It belonged to his college friend, Michael Torres. And the contrast hit like a punch. 5 years earlier, James and Michael were the same corporate grind, same complaints, same excuses. But 3 years ago Michael made a radical change. He quit his marketing job and started his own consulting practice. Now he worked from anywhere, and he looked calm in a way James couldn't fake anymore. Michael posted photos from coffee shops in Austin, Miami, Seattle. Captions like, closed a $60,000 contract this morning. Now hiking before lunch. James felt a knot, pride for his friend, but mostly envy. And one Tuesday evening, that envy finally turned into a message. James wrote, "Man, how did you actually do it? I can barely keep up with my current job." Michael replied within minutes, "I'll tell you over coffee. Saturday morning work for you." James hesitated. Saturdays were for sleeping in, recovering. But something in him said yes, before he could talk himself out of it. James didn't know it yet, but that coffee would unlock a secret. Michael hadn't escaped by working harder or longer. He'd escaped by protecting one single hour every day, his sacred hour. But before Saturday arrived, something else happened that shook James to his core, and made the stakes personal. It was James's 34th birthday. No party, No celebration, just another Tuesday. His sister called from Denver, "Happy birthday, big brother." 34. "You're officially mid-30s now." He thanked her, hung up, and stood in front of the bathroom mirror like he was meeting a stranger. 34, he whispered. Then he pulled out an old notebook from college, the one with his 10-year plan written at 24. The list stared back like a judge: launch my own consulting practice by 30, become a senior analyst at minimum, build a six-figure investment portfolio, run a marathon. And he was 34. He had accomplished exactly none of it. Not because he wasn't smart. Not because he didn't work. He worked 50 to 60 hours a week. But he built nothing that mattered, created nothing lasting, become nobody remarkable. A cold wave of panic rolled through him, because effort without direction is a trap. "I'm 34, he said to the empty bathroom. "In 6 years I'll be 40. Then his mind jumped further: 44, 50, and the picture terrified him: spreadsheets, meetings, Netflix, repeat. The fear wasn't aging. It was waking up later and realizing nothing had changed. And Saturday suddenly felt urgent. Saturday morning, James met Michael at a quiet coffee shop in Lincoln Park. Michael looked different, more relaxed, more present. He wasn't fidgeting with his phone, wasn't checking messages every 30 seconds. That calm alone felt like proof. Then Michael smiled and asked, "You ready for the real answer?" James admitted it: he felt like he was drowning, and didn't know how to swim to shore. Michael pulled out a small notebook and pen. "Let me ask you something," he said. "How many hours are in a day?" 24. "How many do you sleep?" 6, maybe 7. The math was about to get uncomfortable. "How many do you work?" Michael asked. 10, sometimes 12 with commute. Michael nodded. "So that leaves 6 to 7 hours. Where do those hours go?" James searched his mind: dinner, shower, TV, phone, YouTube. "I don't know," he said. "They just evaporate." Michael leaned forward, because that was the point. Michael told him, 3 years ago, "I was exactly where you are, busy every second, exhausted every night, building nothing." Then his voice sharpened: "Someone taught me something that saved my life. It's called the sacred hour." James blinked. "What is that?" And the definition hit like a door opening. "Every day," Michael said, "you protect 1 hour, not for your job, not for entertainment, not for other people's demands. 1 hour that is 100% yours, dedicated to building your future self. No negotiation. No excuses. Just 1 hour." James tried to protest, but Michael was already ahead of him. "I don't have an extra hour," James said. "I'm already stretched thin." Michael smiled like he'd heard it 1,000 times. "That's what I said too. But here's the truth: you do have the hour. You're just spending it on things that don't build anything." Then he made an offer James couldn't unhear. Michael promised, "I'll teach you how to find it, protect it, and invest it." Then he set a simple target: 90 consecutive days, just 90 hours total, and your trajectory changes. He slid a paper across the table: the sacred hour system, 90 days, 1 hour, total transformation. Then he asked, "Will you commit?" James stared at the paper, then at Michael's calm confidence, then at his own reflection in the coffee shop window: tired, stuck, running out of time. He swallowed. "Yes," he said quietly. "I'll do it." Michael didn't celebrate. He pulled out a pen and started drawing on a napkin, because commitment needs a framework. 3 steps, Michael said. All non-negotiable. He drew a large rectangle. "This is your day, 24 hours. Then he filled it with tiny dots. Most people let the small stuff flood in first: social media, news alerts, email, random videos, office gossip. James watched the space disappear, and recognized his life. Next Michael added medium circles. Then come the pebbles, things that feel urgent but aren't important. Meetings that accomplish nothing. Other people's problems that become your emergency. He pointed at the crowded rectangle. Now look, there's no room left for the big rocks. James felt exposed, because he'd been living by pebbles and calling it responsibility. Big rocks, Michael said, are what actually change your life: learning valuable skills, building real assets, creating something that compounds, health, relationships that matter. He crossed out the drawing and started fresh. Watch this. If you put the big rocks in first. He drew 3 large circles at the bottom, and suddenly the day looked possible again. He added smaller circles around the big ones. Then the pebbles fit. Then he dotted the remaining gaps. And the sand fills whatever's left. Michael looked up. Everything still fits, but only if you prioritize the rocks first. He tapped the biggest circle. Your sacred hour is the biggest rock. Lock it in before anything steals it. Quick pause, before we go further, I want you to stay with this. If you've ever ended a day exhausted but unsure what you actually built, you're not alone. Hit like if this is hitting close, and subscribe, because the next step is where most people quietly fail. Michael wrote 3 headings. Step 1, find the hour. Most people claim they have no time. That's not true. You have time. You just need to be ruthless about reclaiming it. Wake up 1 hour earlier, or protect the first hour after work before the couch, or give up 1 hour of late-night TV. The time doesn't matter, consistency does. Same hour every single day, Michael said. James nodded slowly, testing the idea against his real mornings. I could wake up at 6 instead of 7. Michael didn't hesitate. Perfect. 6 to 7 becomes your sacred hour. Then Michael's tone hardened. Now step 2, protect the hour. And that word, protect, changed the whole game. This hour is sacred, Michael said. Untouchable. Phone on focus mode. Social media notifications blocked. Work emails blocked. Only emergency calls from family allowed through. James asked, what if my boss needs something urgent? Michael leaned in, unless the office is literally on fire, it can wait 60 minutes, James laughed, then realized Michael wasn't joking. You'll be shocked how few things are true emergencies, Michael said. Most urgent things are just other people's poor planning. For 1 hour, you belong to your future, not your present chaos. Guard that hour like your career depends on it, he told James, because it does. Then he moved to step 3, the part that turns time into results. Step 3, invest the hour. Michael wrote 3 categories. Build, create something tangible, start the business, write the book, code the app, design the product. Learn, study a skill that multiplies your value, certifications, technical skills, languages. Solve, face the one problem you keep avoiding, a hard conversation, debt, a health issue. Pick one category, he warned, just one. Then Michael made it strict, commit to that one choice for 90 consecutive days. No skipping. No excuses. No I'll start again Monday. 90 days, 90 hours invested in your future. Most people invest 0 hours per year in themselves, he said. You'll invest 90 in 3 months. James felt hope, then felt the weight of what hope demands. Michael looked him in the eye. Starting tomorrow, 6 to 7 every morning, you protect and invest that hour. James could use it for data analytics, build his consulting framework, study investments, whatever he kept claiming he had no time for. After 90 days, Michael said, you'll have 90 hours of real work toward your goals. Enough to create visible change. But then came the warning that, Michael's voice dropped. If you skip even one day, the system breaks. Skipping is lying to yourself, and you can't build a future on lies. James felt the pressure, but also something he hadn't felt in years, control. I'll start tomorrow, Monday morning, James said automatically. Michael shook his head. No. Start tomorrow, Saturday, because Monday is the lie people use to postpone forever. James took a breath and surrendered the old pattern. Okay, he said. Tomorrow morning, 6 to 7, my sacred hour begins. The next morning, Saturday at 6, his alarm went off. Every cell in his body screamed no. His brain whispered, "It's the weekend. You deserve rest. Start Monday." Then Michael's words cut through, "Monday is a lie." And James made his first real choice. He threw off the covers and stood up. Week 1 was resistance. The first 7 days were brutal. James chose to invest his sacred hour in advanced Excel and data analytics, the tools that could make him irreplaceable at work. He enrolled in an online certification course he'd bookmarked 2 years earlier and never started. Now it was open on his laptop, and there was nowhere to hide. Every morning at 6, while Chicago slept under gray skies, James sat at his kitchen table, laptop open, headphones on, coffee going cold. His brain felt like mud. The concepts were dense. He wanted to quit after day 3, but he didn't. 1 hour. Phone on focus mode. No distractions. By Friday he'd finished 7 full hours of coursework, 7 more than the previous 2 years combined. And that number, week 3, brought a shift. Around day 19, something strange happened. James woke up at 5:57, 3 minutes before his alarm. His body had adjusted. For the first time, he didn't resent the early wake-up. He felt energized. The analytics started clicking: pivot tables, data visualization, statistical modeling. He could finally see how these tools would change his work. But the deeper change was in. More importantly, James could feel himself becoming more capable, more valuable. He texted Michael, 3 weeks in, "I'm not the same person I was 20 days ago." Michael replied instantly, "That's the power of consistency. You're not just learning skills, you're becoming someone new." James stared at that message, because it named what he'd been missing: identity built through repetition. And then, at week 6 brought the crisis. Day 47. James hit a wall. Work exploded, a major client unhappy, his boss panicking, emergency meetings, late nights, stress through the ceiling. On Wednesday he slept through his alarm. On Thursday he woke at 6, stared at his laptop, then crawled back into bed. On Friday he opened the course, but his brain was fried. By Saturday morning, he was ready to quit. And, "This is impossible," he thought. "I can't do this. I'm too tired. Work is too demanding. Maybe I'm not built for this." He sat in the dark kitchen with the cursor blinking like a heartbeat. Then memory hit: his 34th birthday, the mirror, the notebook full of broken promises. The cold panic of imagining 44 with nothing changed. James closed his eyes. "No," he whispered. "Not again. He opened the course anyway, exhausted, while work was chaos, when sleep would have been easier. He worked for 60 minutes. It wasn't his best session, his brain was fog. He rewatched lessons twice. But he showed up. And on Sunday, he showed up again. By Monday of week 7, the work crisis calmed down, and his sacred hour streak was intact. 50 days. 50 hours invested. That streak wasn't just time. Month 3 brought the breakthrough. By week 10, James completed the entire data analytics certification. He passed the final exam with 89%. But the real transformation showed up at work. One Thursday afternoon, his boss called an emergency meeting. A major client had a data crisis, their quarterly reports were a mess. Numbers didn't match. Spreadsheets were breaking. They were threatening to leave and take $200,000 in annual revenue with them. The team panicked. Nobody knew how to fix it. Then James spoke up, "I can solve this. Give me until tomorrow morning." His boss looked skeptical but desperate. "Fine. You have until 9. That night James stayed late, but he wasn't panicking. He was calm, because every tool he needed had been built in his sacred hour. He'd learned advanced Excel formulas, data cleaning, automated reporting systems. Now he used them. He built a new system from scratch, fixed every error, and created automated reports designed to prevent the crisis from ever happening again. By 8 the next morning, he emailed the solution to his boss. By 9, it was forwarded to the client. By 10, the client called back. This is exactly what we needed," the client said. "Actually, it's better than what we had before." Who built this? James heard his name spoken with respect, not pity. 2 weeks later, he was called into his boss's office. "James, you saved that account, $200,000 in revenue. And the client wants to expand their contract because of the new system you built." His boss paused. I've been watching you these past 3 months," his boss said. "You're different, sharper, more capable. I don't know what changed, but keep doing it." Then the reward landed. "We're creating a new role, Senior Financial Analyst with Data Analytics Focus. It's yours. 28% salary increase starts next month." James sat there stunned. 3 months earlier he was stuck. Now he was moving, by, not luck. 90 hours. 90 mornings. 1 sacred hour at a time. "Thank you," James managed. "I accept." On day 90, he met Michael for coffee again. 90 days, James said, "never missed one, even when I almost quit at day 47. Michael grinned. "I knew you'd hit a wall somewhere. Everyone does. What matters is you didn't stay down." "So what's next?" James pulled out his notebook, and, James said, "I'm launching my consulting practice. I've already outlined my first service offering." He told Michael he'd use the sacred hour to build it, one morning at a time. Michael raised his cup. "Welcome to the other side." And that's the moment the story turns toward you, because James didn't discover extra time. He protected what was already there. The lesson is simple, but it's not easy. And James's story proves something critical: you don't need more time. You need to protect the time you already have. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent, connections, or even hard work. It's whether you defend 1 sacred hour every day to build your future while everyone else is sleeping, scrolling, or making excuses. And the math behind that hour is undeniable. Once 1 hour is 4% of your day, just 4%. But over 1 year, that's 365 hours. That's 9 full 40-hour work weeks dedicated to your transformation. In 5 years, it's 1,825 hours, the equivalent of working a full-time job for an entire year, except that job is building you. Most people invest 0 hours per year in their future. That isn't a small edge. That's the difference between transformation and stagnation. So here's your challenge, the same one Michael gave James. Step 1, find your hour. Tonight, decide when it will be. 5 to 6 in the morning? 6 to 7? The first hour after work? 1 hour before bed? The time doesn't matter. Consistency does. Pick the hour and mark it in your calendar like a non-negotiable. Step 2, protect your hour. For 90 consecutive days, guard it fiercely. Put your phone on focus mode. Block social media. Block work emails. Allow only emergency calls from family. For 60 minutes, you belong to your future, not other people's chaos. If you're thinking, "I can't," remember James during week 6, when everything was on fire and he still found a way to show up. Because protecting it. Step 3, invest your hour. Choose one thing you've postponed for years, the skill you need, the business you want to launch, the book you want to write, the body you want to build. Just one thing. Then show up every single day and work on it, even on day 47 when you want to quit, especially on day 47. And don't expect magic. Expect change you can measure, discipline, capability, value. You won't become a millionaire in 90 days. You won't solve every problem. But you will become a different person, stronger, more disciplined, more capable, more valuable. And that person creates opportunities you can't even imagine right now. James was 34, stuck for 4 years, watching younger people get promoted around him. He had the same 24 hours you have, just as busy, just as. The only difference was one decision: protect one sacred hour every day, even when it was hard. 90 days later, he saved his company $200,000, got promoted, and started building his escape plan. Not because of magic, because of 90 hours of focused work while other people were scrolling. So the question isn't whether you have time. You do. The question is whether you have the courage to claim it. If you're ready to start, prove it with action. Decide your hour today, not Monday. Tell someone you trust. Set the alarm. Clear the space. Make it harder to fail than to succeed. And when your brain starts bargaining, just this once remember what James learned in that dark kitchen: showing up counts, even when it's messy. Because your future self is built from ordinary mornings. And if you know someone who keeps saying they'll start Monday, send them this. Sometimes a single story is the wake-up call a person needs. James didn't change because he found a perfect week. He changed because he stopped negotiating with himself for 60 minutes a day. Next, I want you to think about what you'd build with 90 hours, because that answer is your direction. Picture tomorrow's alarm clock. That moment when the room is quiet, and nobody is demanding anything yet. That's the doorway. On the other side is the version of you who actually follows through. James proved it only took 90 hours, 90 mornings, one sacred hour at a time, even when work was chaos, even when he almost quit at day 47, even when sleep felt safer. He showed up, and everything changed. Your future self is waiting on the other side of tomorrow's alarm clock. Don't make them wait another day. The sacred hour isn't about having time, it's about having the courage to use it. So choose the hour, protect it, invest it, and let the results speak louder than your intentions. Because one day you'll look in the mirror and either thank yourself, or realize you kept the same promise you've been writing for years. James asked himself, where did the day go? And then he finally answered it with action. You don't need a new life. You need a new hour. Will you claim it? Will you protect it when nobody claps? Will you invest it when you're tired? The next 90 days will pass either way. The only question is who you'll be when they're over. If you're starting your sacred hour journey, comment the exact words "I chose the hour" so we can hold you to it. Tell me what you're going to build in your first 90 days, one skill, one project, one problem you'll finally solve. Share this with someone stuck in Monday promises, and subscribe for more stories that turn discipline into freedom. Your hour is waiting. Now go claim it.